Hi, welcome to Deep Breath Pilates. Thank you for joining us. My name is Chris, and I'm going to be taking you through a class that is some of my favorite exercises for when the knees are feeling cranky. And that could be from an injury, it could be from ongoing arthritis. This is a great way to lubricate the knees and then strengthen the muscles around the knee. So all you need for class is a roller, and we're going to be on the mat. And let's get started. So you're going to come onto your back, and let's just start by putting that roller under the back of the heels and just checking in that we are in a nice position in our upper body so that we are in our natural curves, or what Pilates language refers to as the neutral spine. So you want to check in, feel that your tailbone and sacrum are contacting the floor. You allow the low back curve away from the mat, and then let your ribs and chest rest down. And then let's go ahead and just take the head. I can feel I'm a little crunched in my neck. Go ahead and take the head and lengthen it so that chin tucks a little bit, and then set the head back down. If you're finding that your neck is still wanting to crunch, then maybe get a towel or a little pillow to give your head a little bit of lift. And once we find that position, we're going to just take 2 nice deep breaths. And just releasing what you need to release before we get started. Okay, so we're going to have the legs about sit bones distance apart on the roller, and we're going to start by letting them feel really heavy. And then we're going to start to pull the roller in toward our glutes. And we'll roll through our feet to our tippy toes, and then we're going to roll back out. Once you get all the way out, you're going to flex your toes, pull them back toward your head, and then we'll start the movement again. So this exercise, and you just keep going with your timing, you don't have to match mine, is to help lubricate up the joints. And you may need to adjust the roller as you're going. But just letting the hips fold deeply and the knees fold deeply, and then unfold as we lengthen the legs out. When we come in, we're letting those leg bones sink deeply into the hip, really feeling that fold. And then rolling out into the flex, just gently starting to warm up the joints. And we'll do this, let's do this 2 more times. Just really feel that. And coming in. Good, and then rolling out. Just to open up the hips. With our legs long here, we're going to let the legs fall open to the side, so we're in a little bit of a turnout. And then you're just going to gently roll the roller in, bring the legs back to parallel. You may have to walk your feet a little bit back into alignment, and then flex the feet. So I'm letting the legs fall open. I'm rolling through my feet in turnout, coming to parallel, and then rolling the legs back out. Let's do 1 more in that direction. Feeling the hips starting to lubricate up. And let's go ahead and pull the legs in here. This time the legs are going to open a little bit to the side. You don't have to go to your maximum, just to where you feel a little bit of opening. And then you're going to lengthen the legs out and let them roll back into parallel. Come in. And opening, rolling back to parallel, pulling in, folding at the hips, and then opening and rolling. We're just sort of stirring that femur in the hip bone. 1 more time. Good. And then we're going to pull that roller in to close to our glutes, so the feet are standing. This is this could be a little intense on the hamstrings the first time you do this. So if it feels like your hamstrings just seize up and they are not happy doing this, just pull that roller in and put your feet here. I'm going to show you on the roller because that's what we're going for. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just start by exhaling and scooping through the belly. getting a deep scoop, pulling that belly down. And then on your inhale, you're gonna rock back into your neutral. We're not coming up yet. We're gonna head into a bridge in a second, but we're just warming up that low back, which can get really tight. Exhale and pull down. As we're doing this and as we're doing the bridge, you want to keep an eye on the knees. So if they're fallen open, you can put a ball or a pillow, something to just hold gently between the knees if you're feeling that happen. Good. We're gonna now take this into an actual bridge, and we'll start with an inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're gonna pull the belly down, scoot through the belly, press down into your feet, and hello hamstrings. See if they can take it. You're gonna hold here for a breath, and then on your exhale, you're gonna slowly roll down through the spine and let the sit bones go nice and wide. So let's do that a few times. It is intense. It's still intense after the many years of doing it myself. Exhale, scooping. Press down into that roller lift. Notice that I'm keeping my scoop as I come up. I'm not coming into an arch here with my low back. I'm trying to keep nice and scooped. So I'm really working glutes and hamstrings. And rolling down. And exhale, scoop. Pressing up. And rolling down. And exhale, scoop. And rolling down, and feel your back getting longer. We'll do one more. Exhale, scoop. And rolling down. Sit bones nice and wide. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of warming up our deep abdominals here. Just because it's always good to have that support. So I want you to just imagine the deep abdominals. They're a corset muscle that are like an old-fashioned corset. They come around the front and attach into fascia in the back. And when we contract them, it's like we're tightening that corset. We get a little bit longer. So we're going to do that with our breath. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, gently tighten that corset. Feel yourself get a little bit taller through the upper body. And then inhale, soften. And exhale, tighten. And inhale, soften. I like to do this with an exhale, as if I'm blowing through a straw, because it helps me to feel that direct contact with the deep abdominals. Let's do one more. Okay, we're gonna work those, challenge those muscles with a little exercise called marching. So as you exhale, you're gonna tighten those deep abdominals, and then without moving the pelvis, let the leg float up. This is our tabletop position. And you're gonna inhale down, holding that stability through the pelvis. As you exhale the next time, you're gonna tighten that corset and let the second leg float up. And we're trying not to rock from side to side. You're trying to feel super centered on your tailbone. Let's keep going. And lower, and lift. And lower, exhaling as you lift. And if you get off on your breath, just reset, take a moment and exhale, tighten and lift. And you go ahead and do 2 more sets on your timing. You stick with your breath, that's more important than you sticking with my breath. And we'll finish off our last set. And good. So we've got a little deep abdominals going. Now we're going to go ahead and lengthen the legs out and put the roller behind the knees. So we're going to get a muscle called the VMO going to help tracking with the knee tracking up the leg. It's this muscle that's right in here And for some reason, it tends to turn off when we're having pain or have an injury or a chronic condition. So this is a good way to balance the pull of the quads. So on an exhale, you're going to straighten that leg, and I mean really straighten it. Feel those quads super on, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, lower, and lift, lower, and lift, really straightening, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. Beautiful. We're going to do the second side, really straightening that leg. This is also an opportunity for you to notice any differences between the two sides. Maybe one muscle is a little easier to get going. As you're doing this, for those of you who have a tendency to hyperextend, just make sure that you're not pressing the back of the knee down into the roller. Really feel like you're keeping contact, but you're not jamming that knee down in any way. And lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and we've got one more, lift, and lower. Okay, we're gonna add on to that. Coming back to the first side, we're gonna straighten that leg, and you're gonna really turn it on. You can flex that foot if you want, and lift that leg up, and slowly lower with control, and bend, and lift. Keeping the pelvis nice and stable, so those deep abdominals are helping, and this standing leg is helping as well. You can press into that heel to help keep the pelvis nice and balanced. And lower, and lift, and lower. And we'll do two more, and lift, and lower with control, not letting the leg drop. Lift, lower, and bend. Second side. And I'm anchoring a little bit with the heel on this side, and I'm holding those deep abdominals. So I'm straightening, and lift, lower, and bend, straighten, and lift, lower, and bend, straighten, and lift, lower, and bend, straighten, and lift, lower, and bend, and straighten, lift, lower, bend. I think we have two more. I'm terrible at counting, so if anyone out there has a better sense of counting, let me know. And try to do 8 on both sides. Okay, so we finished that. Okay, so we're gonna come back to feet standing on the roller or on the mat if the roller is too intense on the hamstrings. And this time we're gonna do a little bit of a different bridge. Instead of that rolling up that we did, we're gonna just press straight up. And then my hips are gonna come down. And I'm gonna bring my legs right next to each other. So it's like I have one leg here. I'm gonna press and lift. Good. So that's our movement, okay? Ready? We're gonna go for 8 here. Press, really feel those glutes and hamstrings turn on, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, lower, and lift, lower, and lift, lower. We've got 2 more, lift, and lower. If that was enough for you, you can do another set of those. If you want a little more challenge, then we're gonna lift up, and you're gonna take one leg up to the ceiling, and we're gonna lower one and lift. So either 2 legs or 1 leg, keeping the hip nice and level. There's a lot of work on that standing leg. We'll do 1 more if you're on single leg, and switch out. Check in with the hips, level them, and we're gonna come down 1, lift, 2, and I'm checking my hips to make sure they're level, and lift, lower. That was a little wobbly. Be strong, and lift, and 1 more, and lift. Bring the legs down if you have your leg up, and if you're got both legs on the roller, go ahead and come on down. Good. Okay. So that's what we're going to do for the back. Next thing we're going to do is some work on our side. So we're going to set up with this roller under the top leg, and my bottom leg is bent. And I'm just going to find a comfortable position to support my head. You can add a pillow or a ball or whatever support you need. And then we're going to play with rolling that roller out. And what you may feel is that bottom waist activates when you roll the roller away. And then you can let yourself rest down. You're going to roll away and then let the waist rest down. So as I'm rolling away, I'm activating those deep abdominals and I'm aligning my hips, which is the position we're going to want to work in. Coming down and lengthen. Hold that position, lengthened out. Take that leg back. Make sure your hips are really to the side or even angled a little bit toward the floor. And then you're going to go ahead and lift and tap down. Lift and tap, lift and tap. What you're going for with this is to really feel the work in the glutes. If you feel it in your hips or in your quads, try angling more toward the floor. Try taking the leg a little bit further back and making sure your leg is really parallel. And lift and lower, lift and lower. We've got 1 more, lift and lower. Good. Bringing that leg right on top of the other leg, nice and stacked. We're going to take a few breaths here. And that lengthening that we did with the single leg, you're going to do that with that top of the hip. Find that reach, find that activation. Legs are nice and stacked, hips are nice and stable, and opening the knee. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Let's go for 10 and 9 and 10 and coming down. You're going to pull your knees a little bit more toward your chest as if you were sitting in a chair. Same thing. I can be resting down like this, but we're going to get better work if we lengthen here. So abs are on, upper body is nice and supported. This time we're lifting the whole leg in one piece. So a few things that can go wrong with this is that you want to internally rotate, so you're lifting with that lower leg, or you want to lift with your knee and you've got too much turnout. So make sure your leg is really parallel. You want to feel it right in that side of the hip. It should feel intense. Imagine you're lifting something up with the lower and upper leg up to the ceiling and you can't drop it. You can't slide one direction or the other. I'm feeling this. I don't know about you. And we're going to go for 10. We're on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. Good. Give that a little hit and be proud of yourselves. You can either roll over, or if you want to keep watching the video, you can just switch your direction. We'll have to switch the roller too. And we'll start on our side. Find a comfortable position for the head. And bottom leg is bent and top leg is on the roller. And I'm really stacked and I can't think of what the word is, but I'm not leaning back and I'm not leaning too far forward. So from here, we're going to reach out with that leg and pull that waist long and then rest down and lengthen and rest down, using that exhale to help. The exhale here helps the lengthening through the whole body. And lengthen and soften and lengthen and hold. Top leg comes back. And I'm checking to see that I haven't opened my hip. I'm staying nice and stacked. And I'm gonna lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. Coming to clamshells. I don't even know if I named this on the first side, but these are clamshells. A lot of you have done this. We're going to have the knees a little bit open, hips nice and stacked, reaching the waist long. So this is nice and active, and opening 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Feeling that pull from the side of the hip back into the glutes. You should really be feeling those rotators pulling the knee open. 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into our chair sit position. Legs are stacked, and I'm going to reach that waist long. Let your spine stay in its neutral curve. So sometimes people tuck here, and I want you to really let your tailbone be long. It will feel like sticking your butt out for some of you. I'm going to hold here and lengthen through the waist and lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and coming down. Nice work, everyone. Okay, so we're gonna come up to all fours and do just a little bit of spinal mobilization to finish up, just to kind of warm down the upper body. So you're gonna come onto all fours. This all fours position, I am trying to also be in my natural curve, so I'm not tucked and I'm not dipping down into my back. My shoulders aren't pulling toward each other. I want to really push that away. Sit bones are reaching back toward the wall behind me. And I'm going to just start with a little bit of shoulder movement. Shoulders coming toward each other, push away, and chest and upper body dipping down, and pull those shoulder blades onto the ribs, and push or dip, and push and dip and push. Good. Let's go for a big stretch. Keep pushing that roller away and come into a big camel stretch. And then you're going to lengthen through the sit bones and through the top of the head. Keep lengthening until you come into a little extension. And then we're going to scoop through the low belly and push back into a nice stretch. Feel that stretch through the low back. I'm going to lengthen again here into my neutral and shift forward, pushing up into a big camel stretch, lengthening through the top of the head and the sit bones, continuing through neutral into a little arch, and then scooping through that low belly. Really feel the stretch in the low back. So this is not the big camel stretch. This is scooping through your low belly, similar to what we were doing in the bridge. Lengthening into neutral and coming forward. One last time. Big stretch. Lengthening in two directions, getting long. Coming into an extension. Scooping through the belly, shifting back. Feel that beautiful stretch in the low back. Feels so good. Lengthening and coming forward. And then just to finish with a shoulder stretch, you're going to let the roller come all the way out. Thumbs up to the ceiling, and let your chest dip down. Take a few breaths in this stretch. And on an exhale, you're going to pull the belly into the back and start to roll your way up into a big camel stretch. Come to your tippy fingers. And then we're going to roll back out. As you're rolling out, the thumbs The arms rotate so the thumbs are up toward the ceiling, and you feel your stretch. And exhale, scoop. Come to the tippy fingers. And last time, lengthening out. Thumbs up to the ceiling, and take a few extra breaths here, feeling that nice opening of the chest. If this doesn't feel good on your shoulders, then make the range of motion smaller. And if that doesn't work, then don't do it. Good. Last time, rolling in. And coming to your tippy fingers. Good. And there you have it. We've done some work. Stand and just walk around a little bit and see how your joints feel. Maybe do a few soft knee bends and see if you're feeling any better through those knees. Thank you for joining us.